Let's talk about this phone. The Z Flip 3 is the third iteration of flippable phones from Samsung. And there's a little bit of confusion because there was the Z Flip, which was one, the Z Flip 5G, and then the Z Flip 3. So the Z Flip 5G was kind of the Z Flip 2 in a way, even though it didn't have a lot of features. This is the 3 now. Now, as I said earlier, and also on social media, I kind of feel like this is the most improved product from Samsung's Unpacked event. Now, compared to the old Z Flip, we have a much more squared design. Some of that is potentially due to the fact that we have millimeter wave antennas now, which are on the edges, and those are flat rectangles. So functionally, it just makes a lot of sense. But personally, I just kind of like the straight edges. I like the way it looks. I also kind of like the way it feels in my hand. I like it. Now, the display is the same size as the Z Flip. It's a 6.7-inch screen, but it is using the newer AMOLED 2X screen compared to the regular AMOLED screen. It's 25% brighter than the old display, and in this case, it's also using LTPO technology. If you want to know more about what that is exactly, you can check out my decoder episode, the explainer series here on the channel, at the link below. Long story short though, it's a hybrid tech that lets the screen have a higher refresh rate. On this device, it's 120 Hz compared to 60 Hz of the Z Flip 5G. It also won't use as much power as normal 120 Hz screens because it can dynamically change the refresh rate based on what's on the screen. So for example, if you're looking at a static image on the display, doesn't need a fast refresh rate, it might drop it down to save battery. And then if you're scrolling or playing a game, it'll bring it back up to that 120. And overall, again, that's supposed to just help with battery life. We do have the same UTG or ultra thin glass for the inside display, but Samsung says that they've actually added a new protective layer on top of that that makes it a bit more scratch resistant and stronger. We now also have stereo speakers that support Dolby Atmos, and I can confirm they do get pretty loud. In addition to that, we have a stronger hinge. Samsung calls it armor aluminum and says that it's 10% stronger than the last hinge, but there is just a slightly larger gap on this model than the Flip 5G, and that's probably due to the fact that the hinge is thinner, and so just physically, like the way that it has to close, it just has to kind of close with a larger gap. The device is also like a hair thinner and lighter than the Z Flip 5G, but for the most part, the specs are pretty similar. Now, that's not to say there aren't meaningful changes. There actually are.